A boy becomes a man when a man is needed. I've seen young people at 40 because they never needed to be men. Take control of your life. One of the most important decisions you make is to leave childhood and become an adult. Since childhood, we are conditioned to see ourselves as children, with others controlling our lives. They make our decisions, tell us what to eat and when to eat, buy our clothes, take care of us, and so on. If we don't take care of ourselves, we end up conditioned to depend on others to provide for our needs. We get used to being called upon to do this or that, as if we need to be guided by more important people. Most people never realize this. They don't transition from childhood to adulthood. When they grow up, they think someone else should take care of them, whether it's a boss, an entrepreneur, or worse, the government. They believe the government should provide for them no matter what. No matter what they do, they think the government should take care of them, and so they remain like children throughout their lives. Steinbeck wrote a book many years ago that I was forced to study in school. It speaks of a young man who needs to make a big decision. His friend says he's just a boy. She replies, "A boy becomes a man when a man is needed. I've seen young people at 40 who never needed to be men. The same goes for women. A woman becomes a woman when a woman is needed. There are women at 40 or 50 who never needed to be women, continuing to look for someone else." The motto of the fully responsible person is, "If it's to be, it's up to me." We don't see other people as the solution to our problems. As Henry Ford said, "Never complain, never explain. If something's not right, change it, but don't complain." Complaining is a sign of weakness and putting yourself in the position of a victim. People who complain are essentially saying, "I'm a victim. Someone did this to me." This undermines self-confidence, motivation, and self-esteem. There is a great divide between maturity and immaturity called the excuse valley. When you arrive at this valley, you have the choice to stay on the side of childhood and immaturity or move forward to adulthood and maturity on the other side. Many people try to cross this valley hesitantly in 2 steps and end up stuck in the excuse valley. This valley is one of the biggest obstacles to success in adult life. People make excuses. About 80% of the population goes to the someday island when they think about making a change in their lives. They postpone it to someday. Someday I will do this. Someday I will write that. Someday I will buy that book. Someday I will improve my skills, lose weight, get out of debt. Someday I will change my relationship, and so on. And they end up in the excuse valley. As a fully functional adult, when you reach this valley, your task is to take a step towards total responsibility for your life. Once you take that step, there is no turning back. Accepting total responsibility is scary, which is why people avoid it. Saying, "I'm for my own life" is empowering. Your mission is to take that step, accept total responsibility, and never look back. We say that excitement is an inflammation of the excuse gland and it's fatal to success. The reason people don't succeed is because they have excuses. You can't imagine a leader whining and making excuses. As I said, there are 1,000 excuses for failure, but one good reason. So, one of the things we emphasize is that there are no more excuses. Do it or don't do it, go in or go out, but don't give excuses. And then we state, if accepting responsibility is not optional, it's mandatory. I've mentioned this before, but I can't emphasize it enough. You can only give control. You can't give responsibility. You remain responsible for yourself, for your adult life. You can try to give control by making someone else responsible for your life, and maybe you'll succeed. But then you end up waiting for them to tell you what to do, provide an income, promote you or fire you, or start a business or something like that. Or you can accept responsibility. And accepting responsibility is mandatory. You can't go further. You're literally stuck, almost as if there's a wall in front of you until you accept responsibility. Take the step and never give another excuse. Then we state that the word responsibility can be split into 2 words, response and ability. It's your ability to respond. The theory of response challenge in history is a fascinating part of history that I discovered while studying the work of Gunnar Myhr, who received an academic award for his work. He stated that every civilization in history began with a small tribe, sometimes as small as 3 people. The Mongol Empire, the largest empire in human history, stretching from the Sea of Japan to the Danube in Europe, through the Middle East, all of China, and half of India, began with 3 people. Genghis Khan, whose name was Temujin, his brother, and his mother Borte. There were 3. The tribe was decimated. They fled to the Gobi Desert and hid. And what Temujin did was look for another tribe. So what happens is that every tribe that became an empire started with a great challenge they had to effectively respond to. This was a big challenge. The tribe was decimated, so he responded by joining his grandparents' tribe and becoming a valuable member of his grandparents' tribe. If you responded effectively, the empire would grow. If that tribe was attacked by other tribes and responded effectively, it would win and the empire would grow again. As it grew, it continued to confront other tribes and empires, and there were conflicts. If they reorganized and responded effectively, they would grow again. This would continue until they were no longer able or willing to respond. In the last 26 civilizations in history, 25 of them collapsed from the inside out. The 26th civilization is the American civilization. They all collapsed because they became weak and collapsed. Just like Rome collapsed because of bread and circuses, for the welfare of the masses, buying them off with massive taxes on those who were productive, until they finally exhausted from within, and the barbarians came from outside and looted, and the Roman Empire disappeared. In our lives, every time we effectively respond to a challenge, we grow and strengthen ourselves. We become more resilient, confident, and powerful. So, the only certainty in life is challenges. Your life will be a series of challenges after challenges. They never stop. They come like clouds from the ocean. Problem after problem after problem. The only question is if we can respond effectively. And if we do, you keep growing. As soon as we stop effectively responding to the challenges of external life, what happens is that we begin to regress. So whenever you face a challenge, remember, here we go again. That's what I do. I effectively respond to challenges. And the wonderful thing is that I learned in metaphysics, make the decision that no matter what happens, you will respond effectively and program yourself. So no matter what happens, I respond effectively. No matter what problem I face in life, I take responsibility, accept responsibility, and respond effectively. If you make that decision in advance, when the problem arises, it's almost like they press the automatic button. You are already prepared and respond effectively. You don't even need to think about how to handle the situation, you just respond effectively. You don't blame, you don't shout, you don't blame others. What you do is say, it's a problem, so let's respond effectively. What do we do from here? Very, very important. This mindset is the mindset of a leader. So, there are 3 areas of life where responsibility is essential. First, in the political area, the more you vote for politicians, the more they do things for you. The more you give control to politicians. Unfortunately, every civilization in history has had elected politicians who promised to take from Peter to give money to Paul. As they say, when someone promises to steal from Peter to pay Paul, he will always have Paul's support. Basically, this is modern politics in the Western world today. Japan almost collapsed because of this. Most other Western countries are in a state of valence or collapse because politicians are weak in not providing people with what they want, which is free money. So when you vote for someone who promises to give free money to other groups, remember, they will take yours. And what happens is that the less money you have, the less control you have over your own life. The second area has to do with the economic world. The economic world is where you take charge, you become an economic adult. As an economic adult, you take control of your own career. You make your own career decisions. You don't wait for someone else to give you a job and a place to sit, telling you what to do and what not to do. You see yourself as unemployed, you see yourself as responsible for your own career. I write regularly about this. I make books and articles about it because there are so many people going through unemployment. And what they do is go from door to door saying, please hire me. Please give me a place out of the cold. Please give me money for something, instead of taking responsibility for their lives. They look to someone out there who should be responsible for them. That just makes them like children. They transfer the focus of dependency from parents to the boss. And the third point is health and well-being. Many of us don't take good care of our bodies. We expect the doctor to take care of us when we get sick. If there were no doctors, or if you were in a place where doctors were hard to find, you would probably take much better care of your health. However, taking responsibility for your life is crucial because there is a direct link between responsibility and self-confidence. The more responsibility you accept, the more you feel like yourself and the more powerful you feel. Blaming your problems on other people, the less you feel like yourself. Both decrease together. High responsibility, high self-confidence, low responsibility, low self-confidence. Low confidence, low potential to accomplish everything that is possible for you. So we say that the important key is this: you are always free to choose the quality of your emotional, physical, and financial life. And that's something remarkable. It's your choice. What Barbara and I realized many years ago, our daughter Christina confronted us and said that even as teenagers, attractive, and beautiful, we as parents have a responsibility to our daughters, as we spend half the time trying to protect them from boys and other people doing what we try to do with them in the second half of our time. So we know that boys are not good. We try to protect Christina, but she scolded us as if we were not very smart adults. She said, "Look, you can't watch me all the time. I set all these barriers and limits, and you have to trust that you raised me well to make good decisions on my own." Barbara and I realized she was right. We decided that from that moment on, she would make her own decisions, and with any decision she made, we would support 100%. This became the mantra in our family. Whatever decision you make, we will support 100%. I have a joke with my kids. I tell them that I never force them to do anything, and they agree. I never force them to do something, unless, of course, they want to spend huge amounts of my money. In that case, we need to have a longer conversation, but I always encourage them to make their own decisions. And I don't always agree with them, but I always support them 100%. Most of the decisions they've made have been very good. It's amazing how good their decisions are when they are responsible for making them on their own. So we say that you can always choose the quality. You can always make your own decisions, and that's crucial. Does it mean I can make my own decisions? Yes, you can make your own decisions. When I grew up, I was always told what to do, what not to do, and I hated it. In my family, everyone is encouraged to make their own decisions, and my commitment is to support any decision they make 100%. There is nothing more wonderful than the important people in your life knowing they have unconditional support. Does that mean they always make good decisions? No, but they know they have full support if the decision is theirs and it doesn't work out. They will adjust quickly. They will change their minds very quickly if the decision is theirs. So we state that the word responsibility can be split into two words: response and ability. Responsibility is the key to taking control of our lives and achieving success in all areas. By fully accepting responsibility for our choices and actions, we strengthen our self-confidence and become leaders of our own journeys. So I ask you, are you ready to take control of your life and face challenges with determination and responsibility? Reflect on this and join me in the next video. Until next time.